Hello friends, my name is Suman Pepra, and here on this channel I'll be making video tutorials on Vectorworks, Cinema 4D, Rhino and many more. If these are the kind of applications that you wish to learn, then I recommend you subscribe to the channel and also you hit the notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you'll be one of the first people to know. In my last video, I did an introduction or a part 1 of the subdivision modeling feature, and in this video we are going to move on. We are going to move a little bit further into some of the other modes that exist, or some of the other modes that can be used in subdivision modeling. So basically, in case you are new to subdivision modeling is a form of modeling in which a 2D geometry is represented by a polygonal mesh comprising of smaller faces, edges, and points. Okay, so the higher the number of subdivisions, the smoother the object gets, allowing you to model much more complex organic forms way faster than the traditional way of modeling. Okay, and if you're also familiar with Maya, Blender, or Cinema 4D, you realize that it works or it functions primarily using a polygonal or subdivision modeling. Okay, so then in my last video too, I basically said that there are basically two ways in which you can create subdivision objects. So the first way is by using a subdivision primitive, and then the other way is by converting an already created object in Vectorworks into a subdivision object. Okay, so for recap, to create a subdivision object using or to create a subdivision primitive, you just have to come here or to look for the edit subdivision tool. You double click on it. So once you double click on it, you are going to have this window here, and then you have these options here to select from as a primitive. Or you can also come to this section here, model, come all the way down to create subdivision primitive, and then you have the same window here. Okay, you have the same window here. And then in the part 1 or in the last video, I basically introduced you to the transform mode of the subdivision. Okay, I basically introduced you to the first mode here. So in this video, we are going to look at the crease, the extrude, and then we are going to finally do the split mode. Okay, so let's create a new subdivision object. So you double click on the edit subdivision tool. Okay, and I'm going to maintain this sphere primitive here. So I'll just click on OK here, click on anywhere on the scene to create the object. Okay, then I'm going to change the color here. So I'll come to attributes, then I'll choose this color. All right, so basically we are going to look at the crease, the extrude, and then the split. Okay, so there are other transformations or the other operations that can be made to a subdivision object. Okay, that can be made to a subdivision object. And then in the first video, we basically touched we basically did the transform. Okay, so this video we are going to look at the other modes which I've mentioned earlier: the crease, the extrude, and then the split. Okay, so let's start with the crease. Okay, so basically the crease allows you to create a sharp edge or towards the point in which you click on. So let's say if I want to create this area towards this edge here, I'll just have to come here and then select the crease, come back here and then click on that edge in which I want to crease towards. You see, once we click, you see you have this this protrusion of the object towards this direction in which we clicked. Or if we want it to crease towards this direction, so we can click here. If we want it to crease towards this direction, so we can also do that. Okay, so that's basically how the crease tool works. And then if you want to uncrease it, we don't necessarily have to click on the undo or to use the undo command. We just need to click on the areas in which you clicked on to create the crease at first. So you just have to click on areas. So once you click on the areas, the object gets uncreased. So we have our sphere back intact. Okay, and we can also click on the center. Okay, and then it is going to crease around this face here. Okay, so we are going to have a much more circular crease. So once I click on this portion here, see we have this circular edge, this circular hard edge being created around the surface. Okay, see if I want to crease this edge too by clicking the center, you see we have this sharp surface that is being created on this surface of the object. So that's basically how the crease tool works. We also have the extrude mode. Okay, so we also have the extrude mode. So basically the extrude mode adds on to the cage. So this is the cage. Okay, so the cage allows you to alter the objects within. So basically the extrude mode allows you to add to the cage. So once you click on the extrude, you come back to your objects here. So once you come back to objects, you click on the face. So you see, once we click on the face, you see that a new cage has been drawn. Okay, so this was our initial cage, and then this is the cage that has been added. You can also create additional cages. Okay, you can also create additional cages, allowing to have more control over your object. Okay, so you can also create additional cages. You can also create additional cages here. Okay, so we can add as many extrudes. Okay, we can add as many extrudes as we want. We can add as many extrudes as we want. Okay, so that's basically how the extrude mode works. Okay, so the extrude mode basically allows you to add onto the cage. Okay, so you have a number of cages, okay, which is bounding your geometry, giving you much more control. Okay, and then whilst we are still on this extrude mode, we can still always come back to the transform mode. Okay, to transform the objects here. So we have the option to transform the surface, the edges, or the points here. Okay, so say I want to move this object, say the direction, I can do that. Okay, as you can see, I can still use the transform mode. Okay, I can still use the transform mode in conjunction with this these other modes in which we are currently looking at. Okay, all right. So our next mode, or the next mode, is the split mode. Okay, so the split mode allows you to split a surface or an edge. Okay, so if say I want to split this edge, that means that edge needs to be highlighted, then I have to click on that edge. So once I click, you see you have a new edge which is actually cutting across that edge in which we drew. Okay, so once you have that edge being drawn, and the closer the edges are to one another, the harder that edge becomes. So once I bring this edge closer to this edge, as you can see, that surface gets harder. Okay, that surface gets harder. So as you can see, we now have this hard surface that has been created here because we brought this edge closer to this edge. Okay, so the closer the edges are to one another, the harder that surface becomes. You say if I want to also split this edge here, I have to come here, and then once I click on the edge, you see we have this this additional this edge that has been created in between. So I can move it closer. You see, as it gets closer, this surface hardens up. Okay, I can also click here to add another split. Okay, and I can also drag that one towards this edge. So once it gets towards the edge, the closer the edges are to one another, the harder the surface becomes. Okay, so that's basically that. That's basically how the split works. And then we can also split a surface. Okay, so basically to split a surface, we just have to highlight the surface and then click on the surface. So as you can see, once you click on the surface, you see you have this smaller surface that has been created within the surface in which you clicked on. So basically you can create additional surfaces in the surface in which you clicked on. So once you are satisfied with the results, you can always click finally to insert your surface. Okay, you can click finally to insert your surface, and then this smaller surface that you've created, you can also extrude that surface out. If in case you want to extrude, you just come back to your extrude mode, then you highlight the surface and then you move that surface out. Okay, as you can see, you can move that surface out too. Right, you can move that surface out. So you have this geometry here. All right, so basically that will be it for this video. In our next video, we are going to look at the other modes of the the other modes of the subdivision. So basically we have done from the transform, we have done from you have also done crease, we have done extrude, we have done split. So in the next mode we are going to look at the face hole, we are going to look at the bridge, and then we will also look at the close mode. Okay, and then the last video under this subdivision series will be converting an already existing geometry into a subdivision object. So thanks for being here, thanks very much, and then see you in the next video.